Sup guys, Fat Archon here, bringing another army review video. Today we're going over one of the top dogs, at least currently, Genestealer Cult. Yeah, it's kind of wild that the army that used to be like, almost like a meme, like, I swear they were always pretty bad, at least in my eyes, I always thought they were pretty terrible. They had a couple like flashes of light, but for the most part, not the best. Now they are debatably, like, the best army in the game. Or, okay, Eldar are still pretty crazy, but these guys are right freaking behind them. And if and when Eldar get put in their place, yeah, you might want to keep your eyes out for these guys. That said, like, truthfully, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys see some adjustments in not too long future, potentially. And that could change a lot of stuff. Because, yeah, I gotta say, man, I've read a lot of indexes now. And, especially when you, like, look at the points for some of these guys, this army is nuts. Again, especially when you look at the points. Because I remember the first time I read the index, I'm like, oh, that looks like great, but I'm sure it's really expensive because, you know, they're going to regen. I'm almost always getting my points out of them, blah, blah, blah. And then you look at the points, you're like, what? That's like the same cost as my squad in CSM. What the hell is going on here? So, a lot of funny little rules like that. Also, too, they have some of the very best characters, like, available. Also, too, I love, too, the characters are just fun, period. Like, look at this dude. You know, little saboteur or whatever. Like, genuinely, I do like the characters. They got a bunch of them. I think, too, for the list, you're going to see at least the competitive ones. Like, yeah, you're going to be seeing a boatload of characters. You might as well, like, just throw in as many as you can. Thank God for the limit of 3, because some of these guys are, like, insanely freaking good. Like, some of the best in the game or whatever. But, again, at the top tables, you'd expect to see them. Again, they're kind of rare, so like you won't see them that often. But if you're playing somebody hyper competitive, you better be ready to bring it. Speaking of really good rules, so for army rule, they got Cult Ambush. If your faction is Genestealer Cults, each time a unit with this ability is destroyed, roll a d6. You add 3 to the result if it's battle line, aka it auto passes if they're battle line. On a 4-up, that unit is placed into Cult Ambush, and you may place 1 ambush marker anywhere on the table that's more than 9 inches away from the enemy, so basically like Deep Strike. And then how it goes from there is, basically, if the enemy comes within 9 inches of them in any way, shape, or form, you gotta remove that Cult Ambush marker, so there is counterplay to it, but probably the best part about this is at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's next movement phase, for each Cult Ambush marker you got, you can choose one of your guys and put them into the battlefield. The timing of that is incredibly good. That's what makes this really freaking powerful. The fact you can place like a big scary unit of whatever you need on your opponent's turn, what that means is that you get movement with them still. And what that means is that all of a sudden you don't have to like put your marker somewhere in the open. You can put it behind ruins or, you know, some other obscuring or whatever. And then on your turn, oh, I'm infantry. I'm just going to walk through those ruins, charge you, and win, essentially. So, yeah, that ability alone, like, puts this army pretty way up there. What I like a lot about this, too, is this plays directly into scoring. That's fantastic. Like, you know, turn 3, they kill one of your units. Normally that's a terrible thing. No, turn 4, that gives me the option to suddenly, like, get that objective or threaten your objective or, you know, multiple ways. I do like that a lot. That plays, like, super well in the competitive. I will say, so characters, I don't think any character gets that ability, thank God. Do bear that in mind. Also, too, they got a really fun rule. They got Brood Brothers. Long story short, pretty much, I believe it's a quarter of their army can be Astra Militarum. If you're doing 2K, you can bring 500 points, essentially. There are a lot of restrictions, so no, like, Epic Hero, no Ogryns, no Ratlings, like, a bunch of random stuff, but you can still bring the most important themes, that being, like, heavy vehicles, if you wanted them. Now, I will say, if you bring Brood Brothers, like, you're not getting any synergy beyond just the profiles that they bring, so I'm not sure it's, like, something you'll see that often, although I could be wrong. Maybe bringing, like, 3 Basilisks or 3 Wyverns or whatever every single time, like, maybe that's the way to go. I wouldn't be surprised either if you do see that, like, yeah, 100% you're going to see that eventually, I would assume, because that is pretty good. So, nice little ability there to ally in some Astra Militarum. Makes for some fun lists. For their detachment ability, so this keys off perfectly with Call Ambush. Basically, they came from below. Each time one of your units is set up as a reinforcement, until the end of your next fight phase, weapons equipped by the models in that unit, they get sustain hits 1 and ignores cover. Doesn't say only fight phase or only range or any of that, they just always get sustain hits 1 and ignores cover. Both of those are fantastic. I've had people tell me, and I believe them, that that sustain hits 1 is essentially the same as +1 ballistic skill. The fact that most of your army hits on 4s, that is a gigantic buff right there, so that is perfect. And then getting the ignores cover, in a sense, it's like +1 AP. You have a lot of ways to get even more AP, we'll get into shortly. But having those two combined, super strong. You do only get it for essentially 1 turn, 1.5 turn, I guess, if you use the Cult Ambush, which also is cool. But yeah, I like that rule. Again, keys off with their main stuff, great. It works very well. So this is funny. So for at least the recent reviews I've been doing, every single time I get to stratagem, I'm like, okay, I know I said the last book had the best stratagems, but really this time, guys, well, really this time, guys, these guys do. Okay, maybe they're not like the very tip top. I haven't read every single index yet, so we'll see eventually. But from what I've read, these are so freaking good, and a lot of them again play into that scoring, which I like a whole lot. So anyways, the first one's going to be Unquestioning Loyalty. This is only 1 CP, goes off in either the fight phase or the shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. Basically, you choose one of your units that was targeted. Until the end of the phase, each time a character model in your unit would lose a wound, select 1 friendly Genestealer Cult within 3 inches, excluding vehicles, and basically you can pass off all those wounds, and each one you do that to, it counts just as a single mortal wound. So if you pass that off to Aberrants or whatever, yeah, man, you're going to be able to turn a lot of damage into just itty bitty amount. Also, too, you're going to be able to keep a key character alive, so that could be clutch. There will be times when that is very clutch. For a single CP, I like it a decent amount. I'm not sure I'll use it that often because you are... Well, I was going to say, you are pretty flimsy. Normally, your character's going to die real quick, but I guess you got this, so maybe not. But the other stratagems tend to be a little better, so yeah, I guess we'll see. The next one, Coordinated Trap. This one's actually pretty good. I like this one a fair bit. It's expensive, so it's 2 CP, and basically it's either phase again, so shoot or fight phase, which is fantastic. You get to choose 2 Genestealer Cult units from your army. Doesn't matter what kind, so it can be vehicles or whatever you want. And until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can only target the unit you selected, but you get to add 1 to your wound roll. Again, that's huge, man, especially you keyed off with your detachment ability. All of a sudden you're getting 3 different buffs, plus whatever the character's giving you, plus all that other stuff. Also, too, you don't have that much access to strength 12 or strength 10 and up weaponry, so being able to toss that out there, that can be giant. The fact, too, that's on 2 units, also giant. The only big drawback is that it's 2 CP, but you do have ways to get around that. This army actually has pretty good ways of generating CP, I would say. So yeah, that's definitely one to keep in mind. Next up, this is one of my favorites, Tunnel Crawlers. In your movement phase, you get to choose one of your units and then that is arriving as from Deep Strike this turn. And basically, you can set them within 3 inches of the enemy. You just can't charge after. That is ultra clutch, and again, plays into scoring, which is why I love it. That would be the main thing I would use that for. So if an opponent didn't have enough movement, or they made a mistake, and they only toe into a objective marker, yeah, I'm just going to steal that right under your nose. I'm going to put a unit within 3 inches and, outscore you, or prevent you from scoring on your turn. Yeah, that is that is so good. I would be tempted to use that all the time. Be careful not to spend all your CP. This is one of those armies you got to be careful with. But yeah, man, definitely remember you got that one. The next one, this one's also insanely good. A Perfect Ambush. In your shooting phase only, you get to choose one of your units that arrived as reserves that turn. Doesn't have to be infantry or nothing again. And then until the end of the phase, you improve your ballistic skill and armor pen by 1. That is crazy good. You toss on, you just came in from reserve, so you're getting sustain hits 1. You add another ballistic skill on top of that, hot damn. Yeah, these guys are going to be throwing out some hurt. Yeah, when you first look at them, you're like, oh, they hit on 4, so good. They're kind of inaccurate. Not necessarily. That is one I would probably use every single time I deep struck, assuming you had a unit that was worthy of it. Yeah, I think I might consider using that every single time. That is a very good, powerful. And you get the ignores cover on your detachment ability. That keys in with the extra AP. It's insane. It's really good. Next, we got One with the Darkness. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after they select a unit, oh, I'm suddenly remembering, like, oh god, yeah, it's this one. You get to choose one Genestealer Cult infantry, so at least it's got that restriction. So, until the end of the phase, your unit has stealth. Okay, cool. They might want to get hit from range. Sweet. Oh, that's right. They also can't be targeted if the enemy's outside 12 inches. That is one that, yes, I think you just, like, use every turn. What you do is you put a really deadly unit that needs to survive, put it, like, right on the line of your deployment, assuming, like, your opponent isn't going to get within 12 inches, obviously. Just put them right on the line. You don't go first, your opponent does. It doesn't matter. These guys are sort of, like, invulnerable. Like, you can't even, like, look at them. So, very damn good one. Definitely don't forget you got that. Definitely use that a lot. I would lean on that heavily. Next, they got Return to the Shadows. So, end of your opponent's turn, you get to choose up to 2 battle line or just 1 regular infantry. Basically, you get to deep strike them. Again, this plays into scoring. This is, like, insane. That one's really good. Only 1 CP to get to do 2 units. Also, too, it says they go into strategic reserves. So, again, you're going to benefit from your detachment ability. So, maybe you need that extra AP or, whatever you need. This gives you the ability to get that again. And then there's the obvious one. Maybe it's like, maybe you went second and it's turn 5. Your opponent's turn ends, so it's not your turn yet. You get to freaking, you get to pop these guys in a reserve, and on your turn, I'm just going to take that open objective. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put within 3 inches of it as well. Yeah, man, really freaking good stratagem there. And then we get on to enhancements. These two are like, great. Only one of them, what I think is, like, meh. The other 3, though, I like a lot. So, for the first one, you got Prowling Adjutant. Basically, once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move within 9 inches of you, you get to make a normal move, very important, normal move of up to D6 inches. So the D6 inches kind of sucks because it's variable. For sure, you're going to roll like a 1 or 2 every now and then, but that's not really why you bring it. There's other things that will key off of this heavily that we'll get into in a little bit, so I like that a whole lot. I do also like, too, that, plays into being shifty little devils, somebody gets close to you, I'm going to move behind this cover, whatever you want to do. Also, too, it's really cheap. It's only 15 points, so that's one of those enhancements that, you're almost done with your list, you end up getting 15 points left over. Yeah, man, just toss them in a character, try not to forget about it. Next up, they got Inscrutable Cunning. So, this one, while the bearer is leading a unit, models that unit have Infiltrate. Hot diggity dog. Putting on, like, Aberrants, for example, very powerful. You can also put on a fat blob of, like, 20 guys, and that's also very powerful as well. Very good already, and then on top of that, each time you play a stratagem on you roll a d6. On a 4-up, you regain 1 CP. So that's great, getting the regen back. If it is a vital or expensive unit, like said Aberrants or whatever, like, yeah, man, there's a good chance you're going to be tossing stratagems on them. Again, you got crazy good stratagems as well. A lot of them let you pick 2 units or whatever. And in fact, that's actually really smart. Use one of the pick 2 unit stratagems, and one of them has this. Boom, man, you're suddenly in like a 2-for-1 in a sense. So I like that one a lot. It is a bit more spendy. It's 30 points, but if you got the points, yeah, man, I would heavily. And actually, the infiltrate, like, yes, there's gonna be certain times where, yeah, that's an auto include. And I probably would like start my list by paying for that. The next one too, I would start my list paying for. Meticulous Planner basically gives you the agent's effect. So, anytime an opponent plays a stratagem, you can say, screw you, and they have to pay 1 more CP anytime they want to use it going forward. I know in my other videos I would say, like, I'm almost positive, I'm almost, like, sure that, GW said if you use this and the 0 CP one still costs 1. I double-checked it, and that is indeed how it works. It's in the commentary, I forget the exact word, but it was like, they said, modifiers come before addition, like something like that. But anyways, yes. So all of a sudden, if you use this like Custodes, like they're gonna like lean in on that very heavily. Other armies are gonna lean like CSM. I'm gonna lean in on it. A lot of armies have been spamming that for really good reason. This is sort of a counter to it. Well, it is a counter, and very important. CP is so rare in 10th edition that anything that forces your opponent to pay more, very good to have. Like I said, it's pretty damn expensive. It's 40 points, so that's one that you kind of got to like plan ahead for. But yeah, I would argue it's probably an auto include. Lastly, you got, okay, the last one's not the best. Basically gives you a heroic intervention for free, even if somebody else uses it. Again, like, you know, certain units, the Aberrants or whatever, that could be alright. Maybe the Genestealers, maybe. But, nah, I don't really like that one. I will say it's only 10 points, so for sure, if you got 10 points left over, try to remember that you got that right there. That would be a perfect way to spend the last few points on there. So, as you can see, the book alone is, like, already wild. I do think, like, the stratagems, the army rule, the enhancements, all that stuff combined, that alone, like, already makes them one of the top armies, I would say. Like, definitely some of the strongest ones I've seen. Then, you have to get into the data sheets. Not only the data sheets, but the point cost. So, speaking of which, we got the Abominant. So this guy, he's only 75 points. And for only being 75 points, I think he's, like, better than most 75-point characters I see, or at least he's, like, above average on them. Pretty good profile. 6-inch move, T6, which is great. Only a 5-up save and no invul, which could be better, but whatever. 5 wounds, which is damn good. He does have really average leadership, but whatever. He has a character. You can attach him to Aberrants, by the way, which is pretty awesome. For his melee, he's only got 1 weapon, so Power Sledgehammer. It's 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 12, which is great. Only negative 2 AP, but D6 plus 1 damage. So this guy's basically throwing out 3 las cannon hits every melee phase, which is fantastic. For his abilities, he's got a fair amount. So, basically everything in Genestealer Cult is going to have Deep Strike, by the way. So, this guy's got Deep Strike. He's also got a Feel No Pain 4-up, which is fantastic. You guys got to remember that a 4-up Feel No Pain is essentially the equivalent of doubling your wounds. So, in a sense, this guy has 10 wounds T6 at only 75 points. For his abilities, though, so his first one, the Chosen One. While this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by that unit have sustained hits 1. So, unfortunately, that's not going to combine with your detachment ability. Like, they don't combine like that. That'd be crazy if they did. But it is handy that if you don't deep strike them, for example, or maybe the turn after when they survive, because these guys are pretty tough, you'll still get to take advantage of the exploding hits. So that's pretty good, especially when you got heavy hitters like these guys. Next up, you got Regenerating Gene Mass. So this is awesome, and this really does, like, push this guy up, I think. The first time he's destroyed, you roll a d6, and on 2-up, he comes back to life with full wounds remaining. Again, he's got the 4-up Feel No Pain and the 5 wounds, so in a way, he got the equivalent of, like, 20 wounds. I will say by that point, he's, like, all by his lonesome. He's probably very exposed, so he might not last too long. But, again, for 75 points, that's really not terrible. The funny thing, though, is that the other characters make this guy look not very good. So, like, while all that stuff combined for, again, only 75 points, I don't think it's that bad. Like, it's not, like, the best thing ever. Only 3 attacks, hitting on the 3s, no invul, definitely hurts. All that sort of stuff. It's not the best ever, but he is very usable. If I was playing, like, Garage Hammer or somebody, I'd go straight to this guy, probably. I like him a fair bit, actually, even though he's not the most competitive. I'm gonna put him in B tier. For 75 points, that's really not bad. It's funny, like, for GSC specifically, maybe I should put him, like, maybe even goes in C tier, but I like him a decent amount. He's a cool model, too. Alright, next up we got Acolyte Icon Ward. So this guy, he's only 50 points, so cheap overall, but average for GSC. Pretty basic profile, so 6-inch move, T4, 5-up save, no invul, only 3 wounds, definitely sniper food. But he does have 6 leadership. For damage, he's got basically nothing. Like, you don't bring him for damage. He's got the Cult Claw, so he will do, like, 4, negative 1 AP, strength 4, 1 damage attacks. But again, he's not there for the damage, like, in the least bit. As usual, he's got Deep Strike. So 2 abilities. The first one, Nexus of Devotion. While this model's leading a unit, they all get a 5-up Feel No Pain. So that's not too bad at all. He can only go with basically the like battle line and then the hybrid metamorphs. Can they benefit from that so much? I guess if you bring a 20-man blob, like, yeah, that'll help you keep a fair band alive. And then his second ability, Summon the Cult. So once per battle, when you have to remove one of your markers because the enemy got within range of it, basically you get to move it within 12 inches of this guy instead. That's pretty awesome. That is cool because people for sure are going to be gunning for your for those markers. I know I would. So it's not going to be that uncommon for them to get picked up every now and then. Being able to, like, place it somewhere around you, not bad at all. Again, though, so same issue as the Abominant. The other characters make this guy look like a joke, and honestly, the other characters make this guy, like, really look like a joke. He's not a lieutenant either. Like, a lot of the other, you'll see, we'll get there. He's not a lieutenant either. I do like the 5-up Feel No Pain, but I don't think the units he can put on like really warrant it. If he go with Aberrants, like that'd be insane. Well, no, actually, it wouldn't matter. They already got a 4-up, right? Not the best. I don't think he's terrible by any means. Feel No Pain is always valuable in my eyes, especially on units like regen models and all the other crazy stuff that GSC do. I think I'll put him in C. I do think it'd be like high C probably, because 50 points ain't bad. And again, a Feel No Pain is always good to have. Alright, Biofigus. I freaking like this guy. Not only does he have like a sick model, but he's got sick rules to go with it. So, really basic profile. 6-inch move, only T3, 5-up save, no end wall, only 3 wounds, leadership 7 again. Seeing a theme here. So, very, very, very flimsy. The thing is you gotta remember, like, the enhancements, and the stratagems, and the fact you'll be deep striking all the time. You gotta think all that stuff when you look at this guy. So, this guy's awesome. By the way, before we get into his abilities, you can attach him to Aberrants. So, keep that in mind. For ranged weapons, he's got a cute one. He's got a pistol, but then he's also got chemical vials. So anti-infantry 2-up, which is cool. Only 6-inch range, not that cool. Only 1 attack, hit on 3s, strength 1, AP 1, damage 2. It is the anti-infantry 2-up. So like I said, it's cute. If you get in a melee range, what this guy is very much going to want to do, maybe you'll kill a marine. For melee weapons, you got injector goad. So anti-infantry 2-up again. Only 1 attack again. Hitting on 3s, strength 2, no AP, D3 damage. It's not the best ever, but there is a way to buff that up. For abilities, Twisted Science. While this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the lethal hits ability. So that's pretty great. Being able to get auto damage through, definitely like to have it. Definitely adds to your efficiency. And if you're attaching them to Aberrants, they're kind of spendy, so anything that helps with that, very valuable to have. His second ability, Biological Warfare. Once per battle, thanks GW, when this model's unit is selected to fight, this model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, improve the attacks and damage characteristics of its injector goad by 3. So all of a sudden, he's having 4 attacks at damage 3 plus D3, which is pretty good. No AP still. Strength 2, but the anti-infantry 2-up. So that will slice up some infantry for sure, assuming they don't have the best save or they don't make their saves. Not the best thing ever. Like, I wouldn't bring them for that, but it's nice to have. Now, the reason you do bring them, Alchemist Familiar. So the little dude he's got, the little science dude, I guess you'd call him. Once per battle, when the bearer's unit is selected to fight, you may use your little familiar. If you do, until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by all the models in that unit have anti-infantry 2-up. That is crazy good. When you combine that with the Aberrants, like, hot diggity damn, man. So long as you got infantry to charge into, yes, they're going to slice them up, and they're going to slash them up real good. So, I like this guy a boatload. Also, too, he can be a lieutenant, so if you do run him with one of the regular squads, you can attach him with the Primus, Magnus, or the Icon Ward. One of those is tempting. You might actually do that. What is he? I want to say he's 50 points. Let's double check real quick. Yep, only 50 points. And again, with the enhancements. So, what was the one I was thinking of? There's a good enhancement for him. Let's double check. Oh, the Infiltrate, Doi. Inscrutable Cunning, 100%. I would put on that guy if you're running with Aberrants, because their main issue is going to be the 6-inch move. Yeah, that helps negate that. And all of a sudden, like, hopefully I get to charge you next turn, charge into the infantry. Yeah, you might as well just pick him up. I like this guy a boatload. Where do I put him? He goes up there in my eyes. Let's take a look. For 50 points, getting that anti-infantry 2-up is awesome. It is only once per battle, so that is an issue to bear in mind. Because of the once per battle and him not really adding that much on top of that, I think I will just put him A+. He might belong in S. I might be crazy right now, but I'm going to put him in A+ for now. I'd be curious what you guys think. Like, should I put him higher, or is he good there? Or should I put him lower? All right, next up, we got the claim of this. So again, really basic profile. T3, 5-up save, no invol, only 3 wounds, 6 leadership. No damage to speak of at all. He's got a regular pistol and a close combat weapon. But, my goodness. So, first ability, Voice of the New Truth. So it's an aura. While an enemy unit is within 12 inches of this model, you subtract 1 from their battle shock test, and if they fail that test, they suffer 1 mortal wound. So whoop-de-woo, you do a single mortal wound to some unit that probably won't fail its battle shock. But His second ability, Scrambler Array. Enemy units cannot be set up as reinforcements within 12 inches of you. That is an incredibly powerful ability. On a cheap enough unit, that is almost always worth like considering bringing in your list. This dude is also a lieutenant, so can be added with the Primus if you'd like, or the other ones, because maybe you would. Also, his third trait I'm going to say is that he's only freaking 30 points, I do believe. Yep, 40 freaking points. Yeah, this guy, honestly, I think he goes S tier. He is so cheap. And the units you have, like GSC, are an army that's going to, like, it depends how you build it, but they're going to want to get across the table. They're definitely going to want to get on objectives. You'll see in a bit that they key off of that. I think this guy just, like, helps with that. Helps, you know, keep you from having to keep a guy behind a screen. Helps you from getting your opponent getting, like, fancy deep strike. Keeps demons from coming in within 6 inches of you. It has a bunch of use there. I like it a whole lot. I would definitely consider that, bringing that guy in every list. At least consider it. Alright, next up we got Jackal Alphys. So, this guy, he's pretty alright. Only 60 points. You do get a boosted profile. Obviously, he's on a motorcycle. I would hope so. 12-inch move, T4, a 5 save. So, it looks like he only says on 5s. 5 up save. No invul. 4 wounds, so better than we're used to seeing. For his weapons, he's got an interesting one. He's got the Colt Sniper Rifle, so it's heavy and precision, I would hope so. 36-inch range, so pretty good. Only a single shot, does hit on 3s normally. Strength 5, -2, 3 damage each. So that's like, it's okay. On a 60-point model, getting a single sniper shot really isn't the best, but that's obviously not why you bring him. As for why you do bring him, he's got the Scouts 9-inch, so that's fantastic. So do the regular Jackals. As for abilities, so his first one, priority target. So each time he makes an attack with a sniper rifle, if it scores a hit until the end of the phase, each time any other Genestealer Cult model from your army makes a range attack, they get to reroll hit rolls of 1. So that is like really powerful, especially if you bring enough shooting. If you're bringing like, if you're bringing the heavy hitter like shooters or whatever, great to add on to that efficiency. Again, you hit on 4s a lot of times 3s or better as well. But yeah, I like that a whole lot. For 60 points, that's really not that bad. For his second ability, though, he's got Master Outrider. So this is why you bring this guy. In your shooting phase, after this model's unit is shot, if it's not within engagement range, it can make a normal move, important, of up to 6 inches as though it were your movement phase. If it does, you can't charge afterwards. Obviously, this guy can be attached to the Jackals, so that's pretty good to have. They have a really good ability that keys off of that, like, directly. So that makes this guy, like, actually, like, yeah, it puts him up there pretty high. Do I put him in S tier or A+, or maybe just A? You know, it's pretty clear that there's, like, the combo with the Jackals, and this guy's kind of what makes it, like, even possible, so yeah, I think I am put him in S tier. I'm not sure, so the 60 points for the profile and the single shot, like, everything else about him isn't really the best, for the cost, but that ability alone, and again, the fact that it makes it, like, even possible, yeah, I'd rate that pretty high. I think he does belong in S tier. He's not something, so, in regards to the Batteline Jackals, it seems like there's, like, 2 ways to go, and most lists seem to bring a giant blob of them, because they do have a really good profile, but I do think it's totally viable to just forego them. Use those points on more other good stuff. You got a bunch of other good stuff. You don't necessarily need, like, kind of flimsy little bikers that usually you're going to die later on. That said, they will, you know, potentially regen or whatever, but just something to bear in mind. I don't think it's, like, the tip top of S. I think it's more near the bottom of S. Potentially even belongs in A+ tier, to be honest. For the next guy, we've got Keller Morph. Alright, this guy sucks. 55 points, so more expensive than a lot of the characters we see. Terrible profile as usual. He does have an invul save. He has a 5-up invul, so that is cute. That's interesting. For his range weapons, though, so he's got a special pistol. That's like his whole thing. In fact, I was going to say, doesn't he have 6 pistols? Looks like he's only got 3. But, Liberator Auto Stub. So this has a bunch of abilities with it. It's got dead wounds, pistols, precision, and sustain hits, D3. So all those combined, like, that's not half bad at all. It is only 12-inch range, which kind of sucks. 6 attacks, though, hitting on 2s, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. So, kind of a stinker there. I will say there's ways to, like, improve your AP, like, pretty easily, so that's not the worst thing ever, but could be better for the 55 points. No melee to speak of. Do not get this guy in melee. Of course, he's got Deep Strike, but he's also got Lone Operative, so that is pretty valuable. If you need just a random character and you have to own this model to place in the corner or do some other, like, you know, tricky little stuff, having the Lone Op gives you the ability to do that. On top of that, so you got 2 abilities. Cometh the hour, cometh the hero. I like that name. When you set him up, if he from Deep Strike, if he is set up within 3 inches of a battle line unit, you can set him within 3 inches of the enemy. That's kind of stupid, like, he has lone op, why would I ever do that? I guess I could shoot the pistols, it gets me in the 6-inch range, but they're single damage, no AP, like, really not the best there. His second ability, though, Gunslinger, basically, he's like, what is it, Cypher from CSM? Basically, if he's within 3 inches of a battle line, and they get shot, after the enemy shoots, you get to shoot back at him. Again, the enemy's going to shoot this guy first. He's like easy pickings if they're within 12-inch range. Both of those are kind of stupid in my eyes. I don't really like them. I don't really like Killer Morph at all. I think it's like too expensive. Does he go in trash tier? Yeah, honestly, because those abilities kind of suck. Yeah, I think he goes in trash tier. I don't want to be that hard on him, but I gotta be. Tough love, bub. Alright, next up we got Locus. This guy's super cheap, only 40 points. He's T4 as well, so that's interesting. And he has a 4-up invul. So this is one of the more resilient characters they have access to. The 4-up invul, this is the only guy in the entire army with that, so that's pretty unique. Only 40 points is great, too. He also has, like, really damn good damage for a 40-point model. So he's going to have 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 5, minus 2 AP, and 2 damage each. It is melee only, I should clarify that. But 40-point model, tossing out 5 2-damage attacks with a hitting on 2s and all that jazz, like, damn, that's actually pretty good. On top of that, so he's got Fight First, which is fantastic. That helps when you get to use that damage. And then for the other abilities, you got Sudden Assault. So while he's leading a unit, that entire unit gets Fight First. I usually rate Fight First extremely high because it is an extremely valuable ability. So that's nice to have there. His second ability is going to be Bodyguard. While he's leading a unit, other characters in that unit have the Feel No Pain 4-up ability. So I should mention that, yes, he can be a Lieutenant with a Primus or Magnus or the Icon Ward. The question is, a 4-up Feel No Pain is fantastic, right? But is that fantastic when you have like 3 or 4 wounds? Not necessarily. It's not bad at all, by any means. And again, this plays on what I've mentioned with some of the other characters. That's kind of funny to me. Like, this is a really good character. In most books, I'd be like, holy cow, that is S tier. Fight First, 40 point. Like, yeah. In this book, not so much. I don't think you have room for this guy. Yeah, definitely don't have room in your units to put him in there. Overall, as like a unit period, I do think he's pretty good, though. The 3 wounds is rough, because for sure, somebody just looks at him funny and he'll die. But I think I put him just A. Like, again, he's so cheap, like, I like that a lot. Next up, alright, we've got Mr. Magus. Alright, this person's a joke. This is, probably the worst unit in the book. So, 50 points. Terrible profile, so T3, 5-up save, 4 wounds, so, okay, you got something there. Pretty much no damage. Okay, she does have the Magus stave, so it's psychic, so that sucks, but 3 attacks, hit on 3s, strength 5, minus 1, D3 damage, of course it's variable. She is a leader, so you can't touch her. She's like a main leader, so not a lieutenant. She's got a few abilities. So first one, Spiritual Leader. While she's leading a unit, models on that unit get a 5-up Feel No Pain versus psychic attacks. Terrible. Every now and then you'll see psychic armies, but again, like, the vast majority of the time you won't. So already, okay, we got 1 dead ability. What's next? Mind Control. Basically, you get to choose an enemy within 12 inches of you and roll a dice. On a 2 to 5, they get -1 in their hit roll. On a 6, they can't shoot that phase. You're doing the shooting phase, by the way. You should basically, like, don't ever count on that as actually turning off the shooting, as awesome as that would be. You look at that as basically a -1 to hit, and admittedly, that's okay. Kind of stinks that you need to be within 12 inches of them. That does make it a little rough, in my opinion. So, not the best ability, not the worst either. Lastly, she has Psychic Familiar, so once per battle, at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, you can use your Familiar. If you do, you get to double the range of that Mind Control. So instead of 12-inch -1 to hit, it's 24-inch. That does add a little bit of value to it, because suddenly you're reaching pretty far across the table, so that's not too bad. Overall, though, like I said, this lady's trash. What does she bring of value to the unit? If you fight Psychers, I guess if you see Thousand Suns all the time, maybe consider. But again, she's 50 points as well. We were just looking at 40-point units that are way better than that. So, yeah, I think she goes probably bottom. Ooh, is she worse than the Killer Morph? Ooh, no, okay, I don't think she's worse than the Killer Morph. So, alright, she's top of trash. We'll give her that little pin on her jacket. All right, next up we got the Patriarch, so the big man himself. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, I don't think he's that good. He's 85 points, so pretty expensive. He's the most expensive character, I believe. So decent profile though. 8-inch move, pretty fast. T5. He's got a 4-up save and a 4-up invul, so quite resilient. 6 wounds, 6 leadership. Hey, we're getting we're getting a little better leadership. He's only got melee. He's got the Patriarch's claws, so dev wounds and twin links. So he will reroll the wounds, and he will do mortal wounds on 6s. So that's pretty awesome. Only 5 attacks though. Hitting on 2s, strength 6, -2, 2 damage each. We were just looking at that other guy who basically did similar for almost half the cost, or yeah, literally less than half the cost. So could be better. You do get the dev wounds and the twin links, so that'll help for sure. That'll definitely make it a bit more consistent, but just bear that in mind. For abilities, though, Deep Strike, of course, and he does have Infiltrators, as do the Genestealers. For his first ability, though, so Might from Beyond. While he's leading a unit, all their melee weapons get dev wounds, so that's pretty awesome. Getting more mortal wounds through never hurts. Helps deal with, like, armor saves and invols and all that sort of jazz. His second ability is going to be Cosmic Horror, so it's a psychic ability, unfortunately. At the start of your fight phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of the model must take a battle shock test. Meh. We've gone over that too many times. I'm not going to get into it, but those abilities suck for the most part. His last ability is going to be Psychic Familiar. So once per battle at the start of the fight phase, you can use your Familiar. If it does, you double the range of that bad ability. you make each enemy unit within 12 inches take a battle shock. All right, admittedly, like, okay, I guess you could prevent some stratagems, maybe score a secondary potentially or something. But again, it just goes away on the opponent's turn. Really not good. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't like the Patriarch. He can only be attached to the Genestealers, the pure strain, by the way. So do be aware of that. I wouldn't call him trash by any means at all, but yeah, I think he goes in D tier. Like, I really don't see any time you'd really want to bring him. I guess if you really like pure strain, you just want to give him a character. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But otherwise, yeah, I don't really like him. Alright, next up, Nexos. So this is a guy with a cool table. He does have a sick model. Again, really basic profile, 5-up save, no invul, only 3 wounds, so as usual, they're pretty flimsy. For abilities, though, so the reason you bring this guy. The first one, Battlefield Analysis. Once per turn, you can select a model in your unit to use a stratagem for free, even if somebody else uses a stratagem that turn. So, maybe you bring a unit with all hand flamers. Suddenly you get to do Overwatch for free. You know, maybe you need one of your crazy-ass Genestealer Cult stratagems. Maybe they cost 2 CP normally. You just, like, 2 units. All of a sudden it's free. Yeah. His second ability is going to be Cult Infiltration. So at the start of each player's command phase, if the model's on the battlefield, you can move one of your ambush markers 6 inches. That's actually really strong. If you put an ambush marker down and you're anticipating your unit or your opponent's gonna like try to get rid of it, and then he doesn't, he like ignores it and runs away. Oh well, you might have just screwed yourself because suddenly I'm moving 6 inches closer to where I need to be. It's not like the best ever. Don't get me wrong, but I actually like that a fair bit. Again, he is a lieutenant, so he can be attached to the Primus and all them. This guy is fantastic. I want to say, I believe he's 50. Let's double check, though. Yep, 50 points, more than fair. Again, how earlier in the video I mentioned everybody's going to be spamming those free cost stratagems. Well, so are you. And again, you have insanely good stratagems, so that actually, that alone like pushes this guy way up. I do think he goes in S tier. I think you bring a few. The fact he's a lieutenant as well, like it means like you're not running out of spots to put these characters. Fantastic. Yeah, I think he goes in S tier. I will put him above the Alphys though. Do I put him above the Clamavis? I do. Yeah, I put him. He goes, ding, 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 ding. We got he's our winner at the moment. All right, on to the next one. Oh, all right. Well, we thought we had a winner, but all right, this is the real winner. Primus. If I had access to this guy in my, like, chaos armies or whatever, I'd probably bring him every single freaking time. So he has 70 points, a lot more expensive than the normal characters we're seeing. Pretty basic profile still. 6-inch move, still only T3, 5-up save, but he does have a 5-up invul, so that kind of helps. 4 wounds, 6 leadership. He does have he has a scoped needle pistol, so anti-infantry 2-up, ignores cover pistol. It is 18-inch range, so fairly decent. Only 1 attack. Does hit on 2s, strength 1, but whatever. No AP. Yeah, that sucks. D3 damage, so not the best ever, but hey, you get to blink a wound through. And then he does have, he's got the Cult Bone Sword and a Toxic Injector Claw. The Bone Sword is 5 attacks, hit on 2s, strength 5, -2, only 1 damage. It's not the best ever, but it will do a few wounds. And then you got the Injector Claw. So anti-infantry 2-up, extra attacks. This is 2 extra attacks, hit on 2, strength 2, no AP again, D3 damage. It's not the best ever, but, you know, he'll get a few wounds through, especially on basic infantry. For abilities, though, so the real reason we're talking about this guy, Cult Demagogue. While this model is leading a unit, each time they make an attack, you can reroll the hit roll, period. That goes for both melee and range. I'm going to reroll all the hit rolls for the entire unit. That is crazy good. And again, we mentioned in the beginning how normally you hit on 4s, but you put on the detachment ability, you put on all the other like shenanigans you're getting up to. Yeah, man, suddenly that rerolling all the hits, like, you're getting a crazy percent of hits out of these guys. Very valuable to have, especially when you're trying to get your points out of them. His second ability, Decoys and Misdirection. So if you include one of these guys in your army, after both players have deployed their armies, you get to choose up to 3 of your Genestealer Cult units. Doesn't matter if they're infantry or battle line, and you get to redeploy them. If you'd like, also, you can put them into strategic reserves instead, and you can ignore the limit. That is actually, like, having the redeploy has always been a very powerful ability. I like it a fair bit, especially with GSC, because they are like a finesse or like a trickster kind of army. So all of a sudden, if you want, you get the capability, like, bait your opponent, stack a flank, or put people in a reserve. Ignoring the limit is great. If you want to do like a beta strike, I guess we'll call it, because it's turn 2 or whatever. If you want to go for that play and get the most out of your detachment ability, like, that's a great way to get, take advantage of that. Get as many units as you can deep striking. I like that a fair bit. Yeah, combine that with the reroll and all hits. This guy goes very tip top of S tier. I would bring, honestly, if you're looking at GSC, I would bring 3 of this guy, like, pretty much every single time. And don't forget that you can attach other people to it. So it's like a nice little, like, combo, 2 little partners, you know, go along with your units. Very powerful ability. Primus is fantastic. Like I said, I'd bring him in my army if I could. Alright, next up we got Reductus Saboteur. So, I actually kind of like this guy. He's only 55 points, really not that expensive. Same super basic profile as the others, so only 3 wounds, no invul, 5-up save. Now, one of the main things about this guy, though, so he does have a lone operative, so can't be targeted outside 12 inches. That's, pretty handy to have, as usual. He also has stealth and infiltrate on top of that. I don't think you'll want to be using those very often. I would probably put him in, like, as far away from other enemy as I could. For his weaponry, though, so he's got some pretty cool ones. Demolition charges, first of all. It is only 1 use, so you can only use it once per battle, but it's going to be Assault, Blast, only 6-inch range, unfortunately, but D6 plus 3 attacks, hit on 2s, strength 12, -2, 2 damage each. So that's actually, like, boatload of damage to come off this little dude. That said, you're probably going to be dead if you get within 6 inches of somebody, so not really something you count on. His next weapon, though, that's where this guy gets a little spicy. So, Remote Explosives. It is Blast and Indirect Fire, so that's cool. You got some more artillery in your army. It is going to be 24-inch range, so much better. D6 plus 3 attacks, so not too shabby. Hits on 3s, strength 5, no AP, and only 1 damage, but that's not bad at all, man. You know, some cultists or some other, like, chaff unit hidden behind an objective, going ahead and just kill a few. For melee, he's basically got none, only 2 attacks, strength 3, no AP, so terrible melee. Again, if you get within 6 inches of somebody, he's a goner. For his abilities, though, so he's got a few. This first one, Primed and Ready, sounds like me. In your shooting phase, basically, you can use the grenade stratagem for free on this guy. And you use if somebody else uses a grenade stratagem already as well. So, whatever. I guess if you get near in a mirror match, I guess that could come in pretty handy. For a second ability, though, so Planted Explosives. Once per battle, when an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, or fallback move within 12 inches of you, you can use your Reductus Mine. If you do, you roll a d6. On a 2-up, the enemy is going to take d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. That's not bad at all. That's going to be an average of 5 mortal wounds just for somebody trying to kill you. So again, his whole thing is being a lone op, little, like, solo character. Like I said, I like him a fair bit. Granted, you do have, again, other cheap characters, and actually, we're about to see one here, so potentially the next one's a better choice, maybe, for that. Where would I rate him, though? Honestly, like, his only purpose is that he has lone op, and I do think his only purpose is going to be an enhancement like carrier, if you bring him. You know, I take that back. The remote explosives isn't that valuable, but it's cool. It's a cool ability, so okay, we got to rate him for that at least. Ooh, where do I put him? That is a good question. I don't think he's that good, aside from not being shot easily. So honestly, I think he goes in B. Maybe top of B, maybe bottom of B, maybe belongs much higher. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you guys think? I think again, only that lone op makes him useful. Otherwise, not that sure about him. Next up, though, so this one, similar as the last guy. So lone op, stealth, infiltrate, and only 40 points, so a bit cheaper. They also are a sniper, so you get a Colt sniper rifle, anti-psyker 2-up, heavy and precision, so that's cool. If you see any psychers, I guess, you'll win them a bit easier. It is only one attack, hit on 3s, not 2s, unfortunately. Strength 5, -2, 3 damage each, though, so that's not shabby at all. Getting a across-the-table sniper for 40 points, like, not the worst thing ever. And then for melee, he actually does have a bit of melee. He's got the Sanctus Bio Dagger, so anti-infantry 3-up, precision, 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, only strength 3, -2, and 1 damage. The anti-infantry makes up for the strength, but anything else, you can kind of forget about it. For abilities, you got Creeping Shadow. This unit is eligible to shoot and declare charge, and in turn then it advanced or fell back, so that's cool. He's pretty mobile. And then for his second ability, Psychic Spore. At the start of the first battle round, select one enemy to be your prey. Each time you make an attack against that prey, that attack gets ignore, cover, and dev wounds. Those two combined with the sniper, like, it's not too bad to have. I will say, like, the ignores cover's alright, because that gets you more AP, but the dev wounds, single shot, really can't count on that. And even if it does go through, it's only 3 wounds. Unless you're doing a mirror match where they're all, like, that flimsy or whatever, not really the best. He does also have an invul, so that's interesting. Ooh, where do I rate him? So, alright, we gotta think, is he better than Reductus? Reductus does have the, indirect fire. But do I want a sniper? Honestly, I think I rate the anti-character a little higher. I think I rate it. And then also, too, you got to think of the points cut right there. And again, that you can have a caddy. And this guy will be contributing. The other guy potentially won't have anybody in range. 24 is not bad. But 36-inch range, like, that should pretty much guarantee somebody's in sight. Hopefully a juicy character. I think I will put them bottom of A. I think that sounds fair. Ooh, alright. We're on to the bread and butter of GSC, onto the battle line units. So they do only have 2 of them, but remember, these guys are going to automatically regenerate as soon as they die. So definitely bear that in mind. So first up, we got Acolyte Hybrids. These guys they're more expensive than the next guys we'll get to, so it's 75 points for only 5 of them, so an MSU squad. You can run up to 10 of them. For each 5 you bring 2 demolition charges or 2 heavy mining tools. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think both are viable. I personally lean towards the demo charges, just because they're really cool. Mostly because of strength 12, to be honest. They are only 6-inch range, similar to before, but again, it would be Assault, Blast, Hazardous, only 1 use per battle. Only 6-inch range. D6 plus 3 shots, though, with the blast. That's not bad. Hitting on 5s, unfortunately, but strength 12, -2, 2 damage each. So you get a big enough target, a big fat infantry squad that has like 20 models or something. Yeah, he'll throw out a lot of hurt right there, even though he's only hitting on 5s. Also, too, you can give these guys hand flamers, which you'll do every single time. Definitely want the auto hitting, even though it's only 12-inch range. Again, you're deep striking within 9 inches a lot of the time, so definitely route I would go. For melee, so again, you could, instead of the demo charge, you go heavy mining tool, and truthfully, like, that's just as valid, if not more valid. They would only be 2 attacks each, but they'd hit on 3s, strength 10, -2, 3 damage each, so that's pretty valuable. Strength 10, that helps you versus vehicles and elites, -2 ain't bad, and 3 damage is great. Otherwise, they got, the rest of them are all going to have a Cult, Claws, and Knife. So these are only 3 attacks. Hit on 3s, though. Strength 4, -1, 1 damage each. It's not the greatest thing ever, but they're not terrible at melee by any means. They'll definitely, like, do some damage versus other infantry. I should have mentioned as well that these guys are T4, so a little more resilient than the other units you see. Deep Strike, of course, they do, again, they're battle lines, so they're going to regen when they die, just automatically. For their ability, it's actually pretty good. Vile Insurrectionist. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll hit rolls of 1. If the target is within range of any objective marker, not just ones you don't own or whatever, you can reroll wound rolls of 1 as well. So that's fantastic. Being able to make the demo charges more reliable potentially, or just get more damage through, period. You can also give them a cult icon, which of course you can do. It's free, and this is fantastic. In your reinforcement step, you can bring back D3 destroyed models. If you're within range of an objective, which hopefully you are, you can just bring back up to 3, period. That is fantastic. These guys, being 75 points for 5, so they're not the cheapest thing ever. Being able to regen those, that helps make up for that cost. And that's not on top of the other regen of them just coming back, period, when they die. So, not bad at all. I actually really like the hybrids. I'll admit, okay, the neophytes are better, in my opinion, but I think you still need these guys so that you can bring the melee and the short range, and basically have threat saturation. I do think they're still valuable there. And the flamers are great too. That gives you Overwatch play if you bring a fat squad of them. So their battle line, I don't want to be crazy. Yeah, they go in S. I almost forgot that they regen. Yeah, these guys go straight to S. Don't think I put them above Primus. Definitely don't think I put them above the Nexos, even though these guys all require this guy to play. Yeah, I think I will put them above the Clavis. So just mid-S tier. These are fantastic. You should consider bringing them every single time. Again, that Cult Ambush is going to be huge. Alright, next up. Alright, these guys are the real star of the show. These guys are the best unit in the book, probably. And one of the best units in the game. When you consider all the other stuff that, they get attached to them with characters and army abilities. They got a lot of options. So, for every 10, you can bring what? You can bring 2. Yeah, you can bring 2 heavy weapons and then 2 special weapons. So, if you're going to have a full 20-man squad, which, by the way, you need to do every single time, you can bring 4 of each of those. And they got some really good choices. So, Mining Laser, I'd be tempted to bring that. It is heavy, which is good, because it's going to be 24-inch range, only 1 shot each, hitting on 5s. If you stand still, you get that extra hit, though. Or, extra +1 to hit, though. It's going to be strength 12, -3, d6 +1 damage. So that's great. Gives you some anti-vehicle across the table. Your other option, you got a seismic cannon. So if you need elite or anti-marines, this would be a good choice. Heavy rapid fire 2, 24-inch range, 4 shots. Again, hitting on 5s, unfortunately. Strength 6, -1, d3 damage. So you got some decent options there. For special weapons, I'd be tempted to bring their grenade launchers. Go with the crack profile, so 24-inch range, only 1 shot each, but hitting on 4s. Strength 9, -2, d3 damage each. Not bad at all, especially for free. As for melee, so they don't really have any. These guys are very much not meant to be in melee. Keep them out of there. It's funny, you can give the leader a power weapon. Even if you did, it's only 1 attack, hitting on 4s. -2 AP, but 1 damage, so yeah, that's not what they're meant for. That might give you the potential, use your heavy ability, so maybe you'll actually hit on 4s with the other weapons. And don't forget, you got the sustain hits and all the other fun buffs that you can toss on top of these guys. And these guys are a prime target for all those buffs as well. Now, what really makes it, part of what makes them pop is going to be their special rule. So, a plan, generations in the making. At the start of your command phase, you can roll a d6 for each objective marker you control that has 1 or more units from your army with this ability. If you do, on a 4-up, you get 1 command point. So that's fantastic. This unit is already already great. Being able to toss CP or regen CP on top of that, ooh, I like it a lot. For their war gear, so they can bring the cult icon, which is free, so of course you will. In the reinforcement step of your movement phase, you can return up to 3 destroyed models in this unit. If they're within range of an objective, which plays off their special ability, so I hope you are, they regen D3 +3, which is fantastic. These guys are already super annoying to kill. You toss in regenning 5 of them on average each command phase, or your command phase, whew. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Also, too, they're 2 objective control each on these cheap little guys. They're I believe they're 8 points each, so 80 points for 10, 160 points for 20. Again, you're gonna bring 20 every single time. Yeah, these guys, freaking all-stars. These guys, yeah, they go way up there. Again, when you count everything else that you can buff these guys with, these are one of the best units, just units in the game, I would argue. Mostly from the regen, that's the biggest thing, because again, they are battle line. These guys, I do think they go very tip-top. Yeah, I think they go tip-top. Nothing else would work without these guys, and these guys are better than the Acolytes, in my opinion, because, again, you get the range. Range is always a huge deal, and you'll see in a moment that we have, like, pretty easy ways to buff the range even more. That's not even to mention, like, if you bring the Jackal Alphas or whatever, the whole reroll ones, there are a bunch of ways you can do it. Really, 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 really like Neophyte hybrids. These guys are the real deal. Hope you got shaft clearing in your list. Hope you can kill squads of 20. All right, we're on to the fun units. So Aberrants, these guys got way better. I remember, yeah, when I was collecting GSC, I was so disappointed because these guys sucked back then. They were way overpriced. So a minimum squad of 5 is 165 points. So we're getting pretty spendy here. 10 man, 330 points, so decent chunk of your list. That said, I think they're probably worth it. So their profile is pretty good. 6-inch move, T6, which is fantastic, especially for Genestealers. Only 5-up save, no invul, but that doesn't matter. We'll see. 3 wounds each. As for why I say it doesn't matter, they got a 4-up feel no pain. So again, you got the equivalent of about 6 wounds each. That is amazing for the price you're getting. That is actually really freaking good. For weaponry, so they all come with the, the heavy improvised weapon. All of them come with that standard, and you can switch out the leader for one. So for the heavy, for the base profile, it's going to be 5 attacks, which is great. Hit on 3s, strength 6, no AP, kind of stinker, but 2 damage each, so that's great. You're getting some multi-damage out there. And then, if you switch out the leader's profile, which I would, you get the heavy power weapon. So this is only 3 attacks, but still hitting on 3s, strength 8, minus 2 AP, very important, and 3 damage each. So the AP and the extra damage definitely makes up for less attacks. I would bring that every single time. He also gets a single tail attack, but doesn't matter for much. Again, they got the 4-up feel no pain, super duper strong, and then they also have hulking bodyguard. So while character is leading this unit, anytime an attack comes in on them, if the strength is higher than their toughness, you have to -1 from their wound. So yet again, on top of that crazy feel no pain, we're making it even more annoying to kill. And also too, if they die, there's a chance that they come back on a 4-up. These guys just like, they keep getting better and better and better. Like, yes, they're spendy, but they are worth that spendiness. And don't forget, you can give them like infiltrate. Well, yeah, I think, him and Abominant are the only ones who can join. So you can give them infiltrate, aka you will give them infiltrate. I would, and also give them that anti-infantry 2-up. That way, again, they just blend through units. Sure, not having the AP is kind of gonna hurt, but you got the stratagem to fix that. I don't think they go in S tier, because you could just bring more like neophytes or something like that. Or like maybe even Ridge Runners or any of that. But I do like them a fair bit. I think, too, they bring, they help fill a gap in your list, which is like, you know, like a hammer unit, or like even a distraction, you could say. So I do still like them quite a bit. Where do I place them? Honestly, yeah, I like them a like good bit. I'm going to put them in A+, right next to their little buddy. So, perfect little pair right there. Alright, next up we got Batteline Jackals. So you're going to see these guys in a lot of lists. In 9th edition, you saw them a boatload of lists too. They're pretty interesting. I do think they're a bit more flimsy than people like give them credit for, but they should be able to get some damage, hopefully get their points. And they do also, even though they're motorcycles, they still regen on a 4-up, which is fantastic. If you can get those 4-ups, boom, you're getting like your points efficiency just went through the roof if you just do that once. Ooh, how many points? I want to say they're 160. Oops, I meant 160 for a full squad, 80 points for just 5 models. So, not the most expensive. They are 2 wounds each, which is fantastic on the bikes, and then the Wolf Quad is actually 4 wounds each. So, 12-inch move, great. T4, pretty good. 5-up save, no invul as expected, whatever. For range weapons, we got a few options. You can give them flamers, you can give them grenade launchers, you can give them mining lasers on the wolf quads or incinerators. Personally, I would probably go with the grenade launchers and the mining laser. Grenade launchers only 1 every 4, and then for the wolf quads, you can give each of them the mining laser. The other options suck for the quad, so like, yeah, always bring the mining laser. Grenade launcher, just like before, it's going to be that strength 9, -2, D3 damage. Not the best ever, but strength 9 is valuable. Mining laser, though, that's one of the like good picks for this unit. 24-inch range, only single shot, but hits on 4s, so not 5s, that's great. Strength 12, -3, D6 +1 damage. So again, you get the anti-knight, anti-vehicle, anti-monster from that. Definitely good to have. For melee weapons, you know, they're actually not that terrible. The Eldar Power Weapon. So it is going to be 2 attacks, only hit on 4s, but strength 4, -2, 1 damage each. Again, not the best ever, but they'll be able to do a little bit if they get in there. for their abilities though, so that's where these guys like really pop. So scouts 9-inch, so that's fantastic. Add that on to the 12-inch, and what is that? That's like essentially a 21-inch first turn move if you needed it or wanted to play it that way. Super strong. That helps you get into range for some of your other abilities. Speaking of, so Outrider gangs. Each time you use the cult ambush ability. Oh, okay. So this is actually sort of like a restriction. Each time you use the Cult Ambush ability to set this unit back up on the battlefield, in addition to normal rules, all models must be set within 6 inches of the battlefield edge, and at least one of them must be touching the marker. If you can't do it, they can't come down. So that's kind of rough, because A, you need to have the foresight to put the marker within 6 inches of the edge, and then B, yeah, obviously it restricts you to having to be within 6 inches of the edge. So that's kind of funny that they put like a restriction as one of their quote-unquote abilities, but the next one more makes up for it. Demolition Run. Each time this unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit within 6 inches of invisible, and you roll a d6 for each model in this unit. For each 4-up, you do 1 mortal wound to them. So on average, if you include the leader, on average it'd be 5.5 mortal wounds. We'll just say 6 to be nice. And don't forget, Jackal Prime, he gives you the ability to move again after shooting. You also got the enhancement that lets you move if the enemy comes within 9 inches of you. You got all that stuff that stacks together. Suddenly, potentially, you could do what? That'd be an average of like 15 to 18 mortal wounds in a single battle round. That is pretty damn good. And that'd be like to almost any unit in the game, or would be to any unit in the game. Yeah, that's pretty damn good, especially for the cost. 80 points for 5, 160 for 10. Really good. Really not that bad. And again, they regen on a 4-up, unfortunately, but they regen still. I like these guys a lot. I would totally be tempted to bring them. They bring that speed. They bring all sorts of like goodies. They bring the T4. Yeah, they go pretty up there. Do I put them S tier though? Man, it's gonna be a funny like tier list, isn't it? We're gonna have like nothing but S tier in the end. I'll be honest. So from my experience in the past and how their profiles still look, I think they're flimsier than they look. I remember GSC players, they bring their Jackals, and they always thought they're going to do so good, and I almost always would kill them the first chance I got. Like, the first shooting phase, they were, like, wiped, or basically wiped at that point. So I think that'll probably still be an issue with them. I don't think, like, they're going to survive as long as we want. Again, they come back on a 4-up, but you got the restrictions with it as well. So I do think your normal battle line are going to be superior. Yeah, I'm going to put them in A+. Do I put them top of A+? I will, because you get that mortal wound. The mortal wound shenanigans, like, can be very valuable. Mortal wounds are, like, anti-everything in the game, so pretty nice to have. That does put them up there, and we'll put them above the others. Ooh, I'm not sure if I put them above the Biophagus, though. Let's do it that way. I'll meet you all in the middle. Anybody might be disagreeing. Alright, next up, we got Metamorphs. These guys kind of suck. They're 5 points more than the Acolytes, and basically have the same profile, like the having hand flamers. Not the same profile, but the same like weaponry, and same like niche and like reason for being there, aka like melee, close range like melee. 6-inch move, T4, so that's okay. 5-up save, only 1 wound each, so not the best ability ever. Again, you give them hand flamers, so you're doing that every single time. Give all of them hand flamers. That's way better than just a auto pistol. It is ignores cover, pistol, auto hitting, 12-inch range, D6, so it's a normal flamer, but only strength 3, no AP, 1 damage, so it won't do that much, but yeah, it's better than nothing. Now, melee, though, that's what these guys are really meant for. So the leader has the leader's cult weapons. So 5 attacks, hit on 3s, strength 5, -1, 2 damage each. So that's fantastic and multi-damage. And then the rest of them, essentially, well, they have the same in a strike profile. Only get 3 attacks, but otherwise identical. They also have a sweep profile, which will be 5 attacks, hit on 3s, strength 4, -1, 1 damage each. That's actually great. If you get up to some, weaker sort of infantry, they'll help you clear through them. For abilities, they do get Scout 6-inch, so that's great. That helps with the speed and the board control and all that sort of stuff. On top of that, they get Savage Emmelgram. Essentially, they get Fight on Death. It is on a 3-up, so that's actually pretty relatively almost reliable. That's way better than we usually see. Usually it's a 4-up, so that's not too bad. And then again, you give them the Icon, so they regen D3 models, and if they're within range of objective, they just bring back 3 models, period. Again, you just bring the Acolytes over these guys. I really Honestly, I'm kind of confused. Yeah, I don't think they're that good. They have good melee. I'm confused why you'd even bring them, but I guess they do have good melee. If that was the kind of list you wanted to run, like, yeah, you could totally use them. Their big issues that they're not battle line, though. Like, that's what actually kills them. That's going to be the huge issue, the elephant in the room, is, yeah, man, I'd rather have something that just automatically regens and basically does, like, 80% of what these guys do than, yeah, bring these guys. So, I don't think they're terrible by any means, but, yeah, let's go, like, C tier. And next up, we got Pure Strain Genestealers. I want to love these guys. I wish I could love these guys. I will say, I think they're very usable. Like, 100% you can make them work. I'm not sure I would try, though. So, me personally. They're 90 points each, so they're quite expensive. But they do have a pretty good profile. So, 8-inch move, T4, 5-up save, and a 5-up invul, and 2 wounds each. So already, that's like one of the most resilient units we've seen, or like they're up there for GSC. For melee, though, so Cult, Claws, and Talons, 4 attacks each, hitting on 2s, which is cool. Strength 4, -2, only 1 damage each. Could be way better. I'd rather have like 2 damage attacks. Like, I'd way rather have that. But hitting on 2s is like pretty strong. For core abilities, so they do have Infiltrate, so that's cool. You can get them closer where they need. And they also have Swift and Deadly, so they can always advance and charge. Not one of those, like, once per game or whatever. They can just always advance and charge. So these would be speedy little devils. Infiltrate them behind some ruins, and on your turn, get them up in there, get them go slicing some stuff. Again, they're too expensive, and they're not battle line. They don't have enough damage is what I want to see. Their whole thing is just, like, distraction card effects. I think that's going to be like their main like use in your list, because that 2 wounds and having a 5-up invul, like, those are valuable compared to what you normally see. So they're not like garbage or nothing. I think again, I think they're usable. I think they just belong in B. Probably above the Abominant, though. Achilles Ridge Runners. This is actually probably my, like, overall favorite unit in the book. Not like power-wise or whatever. Like, they're not, like, the top strongest unit or whatever, but just, like, a unit I personally would want to run. I would bring, like, the max. Well, okay, maybe not the max, but I'd bring 3 every time. You can bring them in squads of 2, which is kind of cool, actually. Again, 75 points, though. Really freaking good. For that really good price, you get a 12-inch move, T7. Could be better, but hey, for that cheap, I'm not complaining. 3-up save, which is like the best we got. 8 wounds, that's fantastic. And then 3 objective control, so not a lot, but you know, they might sneak one by. For weapons, they all come stock with the mining laser, twin heavy stubber, and then they got wheels they get to run people over, which is a fun thought. And they also have a flare launcher, but you're going to change that out. So all their weapons are pretty good, or most of them are pretty good. The base loadout, heavy mining laser, like, I do like it. So it's blast, which is fantastic. I always love blast. 36-inch range, D3 shots, so that kind of sucks. That's variable, but it's better than only having a single shot. Hits on 4s, which we can improve as well. Strength 12, -3, D6 +1 damage. So again, that gives you more anti-tank, anti-knight, anti-monster. So that's pretty good to have, especially with that range. The next one, and the one I'd be really tempted to bring, honestly, is going to be the heavy mortar. Blast, again, great, and indirect fire. It's a mortar, I would hope so. 48-inch range, so basically across the entire table. D6 +3 shots, so not bad. Only hitting on 4s again. Strength 6, no AP, 1 damage each. You might think like that doesn't look that good, but you'll see in a second that these guys basically help the rest of your army, and being able to, like, reach out and touch literally whoever you want, even if they're hidden away, like, I like that a fair bit. Again, they got the twin heavy stubber, so it is twin linked. Rapid fire 3, 36-inch range. So if you get within 18-inch, you're doing the 6 strength 4, no AP, 1 damage shots. Not too bad. And again, they do have the wheels. They run people over. They're actually not terrible either. I mean, it's like not good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not terrible. 3 attacks, hit on 4s, strength 5, no AP, but and 1 damage each. Still, again, I love the thought of running people over. Like, try to do it if you can. For abilities, so they do have Scouts 9-inch. That's fantastic. Again, we're looking at a 21-inch move, turn 1. You're not going to do it, like, you know, you're not trying to get these guys in combat, unless you do what I just told you to, and go run some folks over. You don't want to keep them back for obvious reasons, so the Scouts isn't the most important. That said, if you're running out of room, or you got some, you know, tricky idea in your head or whatever, you can use that to get behind cover, or maybe, you know, maybe you want to take an objective first turn. Like, there's reasons to use it. Now, for abilities, that's what makes these guys really pop, especially, again, at their crazy good points cost. So, Crossfire. Each time this unit is shot, you select one unit that was just hit by any one of your attacks until the end of the phase, so shooting phase. Each time a friendly cult unit makes an attack that targets that unit, improve the armor pin by 1. This is fantastic. Your entire army getting an extra 1 AP in the shooting phase. That is actually a huge boost in damage. You have a bunch of profiles with no AP or low AP. All of a sudden, they get get much better, especially if you have no AP normally. Toss it on with the Stratagems, all the other shenanigans you got. Like, yeah, dude, GSC will do some damage. Even though it seems like they have bad profiles, they really don't. On top of that, so war gear. So flare launcher default gives you a smoke keyword. You're never bringing that. Don't bring that. You choose between Spotter or Survey Augur, and both of them are just as valid. Spotter, I really like. Spotter, I'd be tempted to bring. Basically, it gives you a 3-up ballistic skill. So suddenly you're getting more consistency on those hits. Definitely like that a lot. The other one, though, and just as interesting, especially if you're going for the support function, which is like definitely a way to do it. Maybe you bring like 2 with the extra ballistic skill and 1 with the auger. But anyways, what it does is same thing. You choose a unit that you hit with 1 or more of your attacks until the end of the phase. They don't get cover. So that's pretty good. Again, that is like a pseudo plus 1 AP on top of the other AP that you're already giving them. That is amazing. Plus 2 AP is huge, depending on the situation. And again, this still plays in and combine it with all the other stuff. Suddenly you're getting on to like pseudo plus 3. I'm sure there's ways to get up to like pseudo plus 4. Like, insane. I really do like Survey, especially if you go mortars. Like, I think you consider that pretty heavily. Like I was kind of just saying, I think maybe you do like mix. So you do like 2 of them with heavy mining and 1 with mortar, or 2 with mortar and 1 with laser. Or maybe I'm crazy and you just do all mortars. Like, I don't know. You do one of those combos. I like these guys so much. For 75 points, like, that is fantastic. Yeah, man, I like them too much, so they got to go in S tier. I do think I like them more than the Alphas. I don't like them more than their characters, though. So he'll go, like, near the bottom of S tier. Definitely something I think you'll see, like, all the time. And again, it's a cool-looking unit, too. It's very Mad Max vibes, which, who doesn't love that? Alright, we're on to the big boys now. So, Goliath Rock Grinder. So this is one of the more expensive units. He's 155, so pretty spendy, more than double the Ridge Runner. So, bear in mind, you could bring 2 Ridge Runners for the cost of this guy. But, for what you do get a tough vehicle compared to everything else. So, 12-inch move, T10, so we're getting, hey, this is like real toughness. 3-up save again, 10 wounds, so all those are pretty decent. For weaponry, you got a few choices. I would go with the heavy mining laser, just like before. So the D3, 36-inch range, hitting on 4s, las cannon. So strength 12, minus 3, D6 plus 1. That's probably the one I'd go for. You could go for the Seismic cannon if you need, like, anti-marines, but I would. It's too, I don't think I'd do that. You do also, though, you get the demolition charge cachet, and you don't have to be carrying people. You used to have infantry inside and kind of stunk. So that's going to be assault, blast, hazardous, but it's a vehicle, whatever. Only 6-inch range, D6 plus 3, hitting on 5s, but strength 12, minus 2, 2 damage each. So if you go with the heavy mine laser, like, this guy will throw out a decent amount of strength 12. That said, the demolition cachet and the mining laser, their ranges, like, completely clash with each other, so not necessarily something you do. He also gets the drill dozer blade. Should have called it kill dozer blade, but sustain hits 1, so that's cool. 6 attacks, hit on 3s, strength 10, minus 2, 2 damage each, so this guy's actually pretty good in melee. On top of that, so he can carry 6 infantry. He can also, I'm pretty positive he can carry Aberrants. Yep. Doesn't say he can't. So, that's chill. You can bring Aberrants. He does have Fire Index 6 as well, so if you somehow had a 6-model unit that's shot, I guess you do like a 5-man with a character, but anyways, they can shoot out of it. He also has grinding clearance, so each time he finishes a charge move, you choose one enemy unit within engagement range, and you roll 6d6. For each 4-up, they take 1 mortal wound. So on average, you do 3 mortal wounds. Sometimes you'll spike it, but, you know, more damage is always good. This guy's way too expensive. Again, man, you can bring 2 Ridge Runners for the cost of this guy. He does look freaking sick with the kill dozer. Like, come on. This guy was really fun to paint, by the way, too. Like, yeah, awesome model. Wish I could put him higher, but that cost is kind of redonks when you look at the rest of the units. And you know, it should be obvious the vehicles don't regen. That would, like, fix his issue. Honestly, Yeah, I don't, and his weapon's like identical to the Ridge Runner. I really don't see. I guess he has like some melee. I guess is difference, but otherwise, I really don't see like a reason to bring this guy. He's not horrible by any means. He goes in. Oh, I probably would bring Metamorphs above him. Yeah, I'll put him in D tier, honestly. When you consider the prices, yeah, he goes in D tier. Maybe even belongs in trash. Yeah, not too happy with that guy. I will put the Patriarch even above him. That price really messes with it. Alright, and lastly, we got Goliath Truck. So this is their transport. It's a pretty tough transport, pretty decent one. So 12-inch move, T9, so for GSC, very tough. 3 up save, 10 wounds, so not bad at all. He can carry 12 models, so that's actually handy if you want to put some neophytes in there. You know, preferably do a fat squad, but if you got this guy, it's really not the worst thing. And again, you put a full Aberrant squad in there. That's probably actually the main use of this guy. I do believe he's 110, though, so kind of spinny. Yeah, 110. Don't really like that too much, but same as the other guy, he's got the demolition charge cachet, exactly the same. Heavy stubber, it's not a twin heavy stubber, but it is rapid fire 3. And then he does have a twin autocannon, so twin linked, 48-inch range, 2 attacks, hit on 4s, strength 9, -1, 3 damage each, so not terrible at all. And he can also run people over, just like the other guy. Only 3 attacks, strength 6, no AP, 1 damage. Again, that's a fun idea, so go out and do it. For abilities, you got fire support. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, you choose 1 enemy unit you hit. Basically, until the end of the phase, each time a friendly model that disembarked from this transport attacks them, you get to reroll the wound roll. That's actually pretty powerful. It is only shooting phase, so like, you gotta make sure you got a shooting unit that's gonna do it. And really, if you got a shooting unit in there, like, why are they getting out? I don't see any reason why you disembark, for the most part, unless you try and take an objective. So that's almost like a dead ability in a sense. So could be better, unless I'm like misunderstanding that somehow. Yeah, he's expensive as well. I wish I could like him, but again, I think he belongs right there with the Rock Grinder. I do think he's better than the Rock Grinder, and honestly, I'd probably bring him above a Patriarch. Don't think I'm bringing him above an Acolyte Icon Ward. Probably. Nah, I don't think I'd bring him above Metamorph. So, yeah, he goes to D tier. Really not the best thing ever. Well, whew. Alright, there we go, guys. Hopefully it was kind of obvious to you guys that, yes, this army is kind of nuts. Let's see, is there anything I want to change? Ooh, I mean, the Jackals. The Jackals potentially belong higher. I will keep them there. Aberrants potentially even belong higher. The thing is, if I put them there, like, oh my god. And honestly, like, I don't even think that's that wild of take. But I do think, like, you don't have to bring them every list, whereas these guys, like, you probably should bring them every list. No, I think it looks good. Well, like I said, they're not like, they're not the most popular army, but with rules like this, they might very well become much more popular. So do be aware of them. Do figure out ways of how you're going to deal with that stuff. You need to have ways like get rid of their markers. Screening is going to be like giant, of course. Screening, being able to handle, it's going to be like an attritional warfare or whatever. You're going to need to be able to like outlast them. So just small things to bear in mind. As we like see them more, I'm sure we'll get better and better. I wouldn't be surprised if GW tweaks their index or at least tweaks their point cost here eventually. I do feel like a lot of those units are kind of underpriced, if I'm being straightforward with you. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a fun one to make, really fun one to research. If I like missed anything important or you guys got any questions or anything, go on ahead, shoot in the comments. As always, if you liked what you saw and you want to support the channel, I would appreciate if you like consider liking and subscribing. Anyways, guys, good luck out there and have a great rest of your night.